No crying in class.
I cry all the time.
Okay, that's fine, I guess. All right, autofocus, you dingus. There we go. All right, okay. So I got some tape on my desk now, which allows me to know where the zoom is. So check it out. The zoom is between here and here, right? So anything between those purple marks, I can see. The 3 is a little bit off, but yeah. So hopefully you can just see everything. All right, so which of these guys do you want to see? I only want to do 3 of them. 6 and 7, shocker. No one is surprised. All right, the back page we'll do separately. Okay? No, I know, because it's hard. It's weird, right? But it's not. I'm going to show you something that's going to change your life today. Okay? I don't have it memorized, but probably. Sounds right. Okay. That sounds very nice. Right? I hope it is. Okay. Classes passed. Ghosts of classes passed right here. All right. I need to get some more markers. Not because they're squeaky, but because I need new ones. Okay? I love my job. All right, so number 6 first. How about that? So I'm going to write that down so it's nice and big so you can see what's going on. So number CX is 3/4 XY plus 2 equals 6P minus quattro. Oh, yeah. Muy bueno. All right. Dora. Okay. You want to get X, Y, or P on its own first? X. P's the easiest, but we'll do X. Do you need to see P? Like, do you need to? Like, add 4 divided by 6. We'll get there. All right, so we're going to get X first because you like to do X first, I guess. You're like, oh, yeah, it's the first letter that comes up in the alphabet. No, P is actually now, but fair enough. You're done. All right, out. So, is 6P or -4 bothering the X or the Y? No, it's on the other side of the world, right? So who cares? What we need to do is we need to take care of this term, right? And we know how we move terms, right? And we need to separate the 3/4 and the Y from the X. Okay, we separate by what? Division, right? Divorce. And then we move things by add or subtraction, right? So we're going to add or subtract the -2. We're going to subtract it. Are we going to divide or multiply the Y? We're going to divide the Y. When we divide 3/4, that's dividing by a fraction, which is fine. But I would rather multiply by the reciprocal, right? Makes things a lot easier. Multiplication is easier than division, in my opinion. But it's the same dumb thing. Timesing by a half of something, right? Like half of 2. Half times 2 is 1. Half of 2. That's the same as taking 2 and dividing it by 2, right? You still get 1. So we can do anything. We have freedom in algebra, okay? We don't have to subtract the 2 first. However, if we do subtract the 2, do you see how it's going to combine with the -4? So that means 1 less term, which means less things to divide up in the inevitable divorce, right? So it's kind of like a prenup, right? We like prenups. We're going to have to listen to Gold Digger in here. All right, so subtract the 2. And we get 3/4 XY equals 6P minus 4, because that stuff's already there, right? That's already there, so write it. And then we move the 2 over by subtraction, so a -2. Now, there's a more convenient way to write this, a more condensed way, a simpler way, if you will. Instead of taking something and subtracting 4 and then subtracting 2 later, how about we just subtract 6 all at once, right? That's why those like terms combine. That's all that means when we say combine like terms. Like, do everything at once instead of individually. So we're here. Everybody so good so far? Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Now we got to do divorce, right? It's time. Everything's been moved out of the house. We have one term here, and it's just time to get these guys separated. So what's going to happen? Well, the Y is going to go live with its parents, and the X is going to stay home, right? We don't want the X to go with it, so we can't subtract all this because that would move everything at once, right? So we're going to divide by Y. Let's do that. 3/4 X stays, and we get 6P minus 6 all over Y. Because remember, every term gets divided by Y. So this term has to be divided by Y, and this one does. The easiest way? Big division, right? Big division bar. Meow. We need to get rid of the 3/4, right? Now we can divide by 3/4 or multiply by the reciprocal. It's the same thing. Reciprocal means to flip. So if we flip 3/4, what do we get? 4/3. Thanks for raising your hand, Nelly. No one cares. We times by 4/3 to both sides. So we get x equals 4/3 times everything. That's one way to do it, right? Parentheses are great. It's like, everything gets it. Just wrap it all in parentheses and do it, okay? What?
Does it have to be simplified like
No one cares. X equals, another way to write this, okay, would be to put the 4 on top with the 6's and the 3 on the bottom with the y. Right? Another way to write this would be to distribute that form and get 24p minus 24 over 3y. Another way to write this would be to simplify it. Divide everything by 3. We can do that, right? So let's do that. What's 24 divided by 3? 8. Yeah, well, it happens. Over 8, or minus 8 over y, because we did divide by 3, so the 3's gone now. Any of those are valid. Fun fact, let's go back to the red. Everybody see the red? When I multiply by 4/3 to both sides, right, I hit the 6. So it's 4/3 times 6, right? This is kind of a prelude to the backside. We have options. We should read this as 4 divided by 3 times 6. There are no rules. Do it in any order you want. We can do 4 times 6 first. Want to do that? What's that? Now divide by 3. Yeah, you. 8. Very good. Now, maybe you don't know what 24 divided by 8 is. Okay, and that's fine. That's no big deal. Like, who cares? Honestly, I'm a math teacher. I shouldn't be saying that, but I do, because no one cares. Okay? What if we did it this way? What if instead of timesing first, what if we did the division first? Well, 4 divided by 3 doesn't really get us anywhere, right? But 6 divided by 3 does. What's that? Did we multiply by the top yet? We didn't, did we? So 2 times 4 is? I bet you know what 6 divided by 3 is.
2.
And I bet you know what 2 times 4 is. Yeah, it's a lot easier than doing 6 times 4 and then dividing by 3. You know why it's harder that way? Because we get a bigger number when we multiply first. And big numbers are hard, right? So why not divide first if you can? You have options. You have freedom in algebra. No one's ever shown you that before because PEMDAS, what comes first? Multiplication or division? Multiplication, you got to do it. 4 times 6 is 24. Now divide by 3. 7, right? Why? So that can get you here real quick. It's 8. How you feel? Dece? I'll take Dece, not good. Okay? None of you feel good. It's math class. But I'll take Dece. We solved for x. Now we need to go solve for y. So here's what I'm going to do. Starting from here, let's solve for y. You with me? Okay, so to solve for y, we're going to make x go live with its parents, and y is going to stay. How about we do it all at once? First of all, let's get rid of this guy. We multiply by 4/3, right? What is 6 times 4 divided by 3? 8. Because 6 divided by 3 is 2 times 4 is 8. So we get 8p minus another 8. All over, we're dividing by x this time, right? Done. Do you see how the freedom here allows you to do things in your head that you thought were impossible? 4/3 of 6. I don't know. It's 8. Divide by 3 times 4. Wow, you're a genius. It's not hard. Fractions are actually kind of nice sometimes. I know you're not convinced yet, but you will be. All right, let's get p on its own. Starting from here. What do you do? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, why not?
Add 6.
Add 6, so we get 3/4 xy, which is already there, and we add 6 to it, right? And we're left with 6p. Now what? Yes, Ellie? Yes, and I will go further. You're absolutely right. But when I say both sides, you guys are morons and you don't really understand what that means. Everything gets divided by 6, every term, right? So this guy is going to get divided by 6. That's going to get divided by 6. That's going to get divided by 6. So here's how I'm going to do it. 3/4 divided by 6. Ladies and gentlemen, you ever been to Jet's Pizza? Jet's Pizza has square or rectangular pizza. And we like that because it's easy to divide up. If I have something being divided by 4, that's what that means, right? Fractions are just division for lazy people. something being divided by 4. You dig? Now, if I divide that by 6, you ready? All right, here we go. Attempt number 2, YouTube. 1. How many lines do I need to draw if I want to divide it by 6? 5 lines. N minus 1. Now how many pieces did I end up with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. We divided by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we divided by 6. So we get 24 pieces. Oh, division and multiplication are really just the same thing. Just where it goes. The 6 is going to go on the bottom with the 4 because we're dividing, right? So if I divide something by 4 and then divide it by 6, it's the same as just dividing it by 24, right? So 3 over 24 is what we get. Because 3 divided by 4, okay, 3 divided by 6. Or I'm sorry, 3/4 divided by 6, 3 over 24. It's 3/4 divided by 6. So we get 24 on the bottom. We'll get there. If you're not feeling great, you're feeling about 50 on that, that's okay. Another way to think of it. 3 divided by 4, and now we're going to divide it by 6, right? Well, why don't we do it in whatever order we want? Instead of doing 3 divided by 4 and then dividing by 6, how about we do 3 divided by 6 first? What's 3 divided by 6? 3 over 6. Un half. Very good. Now, let's divide it by 4. We didn't do the divide by 4 yet, did we? What's a half divided by 4? A half divided by 4. How many lines do I need to draw to divide by 4? An eighth, right? So what this becomes is an eighth xy plus 6 equals p. Oh, wait, sorry, plus 1. Why is that 6 and 1 now? We divided everything by 6, right? Sorry. Not a smooth presentation there. All right, so 3 over 24, by the way, is 1/8. We just saved time by doing it smartly, right? 3 divided by 4 divided by 6. 3 divided by 6 first. A half divided by 4, an eighth. Or you could reduce. It's up to you. So here's where we are. An eighth xy plus 1 equals p, and that's what p is. Okay? How you feel? Okay? Iffy? Iffy because your answer doesn't look like mine and you're not sure if it's the same thing? What else did you have? Nellie, what did you have for P?
I have P equals 3/4 y x.
XY.
XY, yes.
Doesn't matter.
Plus 6 over 6. Really?
Are these the same? Let's look at it. Check it out. Are these the same? Because you're going to need to know this on a test, right? So check it out. 6 divided by 6, that's 1, yeah? That checks out. Now divide this guy by 6. 3 divided by 4, then divide by 6. That's 3/24, reduces to 1/8. Yeah, it's good. I didn't do it this way because it's a fraction over a fraction, and I think that looks gross. But it's valid. You are valid, okay? Your feelings are valid. Ellie, I wasn't talking to you. Okay, well, the defibrillator's down the hallway. Okay? Questions? We feel better now, Landry? Yep. Wonderful. All right, number 7. Number 7. All right. No crying. If you cry, you have to pick up your tears. This is like the Marines. You puke on the field, you have to pick it up with your hands and carry it with you. Leave no trace. They can't know you were here. You know the best way to not leave any trace is just to not go there at all. Here we are, number 7. All right, why is number 7 hard? Why is it different than anything else we've seen?
Negative.
Yeah, everybody. Because the square. Very good. All right, so here's the deal. Save the square for last. You don't like it? Save it for later. It's just like your feelings. Repress them way deep down until they bottle up and like explode, right? That's how we deal with our feelings, okay? My mom's a guidance counselor. I can say these things, okay? We just push them way deep down and pretend they're not there, okay? That's what I do. I'm an adult, I think.
Then it blows up.
Not always. Sometimes Not when people are around.
But when they're not around, it blows up.
But like, does it? If feelings explode and no one's around to hear you cry, did it really? It's like an expression. It's like the tree in the woods. Yeah? All right, so here we go. So how about we practice getting x on its own, because that's the hard part, right? P, subtract the 2, divide by -1. We'll talk about that in a second, okay? Let's get x on its own. So what's bothering the x? Well, this guy needs to go, the whole thing, right? So we're going to subtract that term. We need to separate the 2 and the squared from it. So these are the things that must go. So here's what we're going to do. Let's move this first. Again, you can divide by 2 to start out, but everything has to be divided by 2. I'd rather not and just move everything out of the house first before we do the divorce, okay? It's sneaky. So here we go. 2x squared equals negative p plus 2, the stuff that's already there. And we're going to subtract the 5/3 y to the other side. Right? We're moving the whole term. So we either add or subtract. We're going to subtract because it's positive. Now, we need to get an x on its own. We still need to get rid of that 2 in front of it by dividing, right, divorce. And then this has to be gone too. So first, let's get rid of the 2 in front. We know how to get rid of that, right? We need to separate it. Separation is division. Division is divorce. Everything in divorce gets divided. So every term is going to get divided by 2, okay? So we get x squared, and of course we do. If we didn't get x squared, why would we do it? We wanted to get rid of that 2. It better be gone if we do something, right? Now, negative p, when we divide it by 2, there's lots of ways to write it. I'm going to write it like this, negative a half p. Okay? You could write the p on top as well. Now, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now, check it out. We have a negative number divided by a positive number. So I know it's going to be negative. So let's just put the minus sign down, right? 5 divided by 3 now divided by 2. If you have something that's divided into 3 pieces, and then you cut those pieces in half, how many pieces do you end up with? 6. So it's 5/6. Why? You dig? Again, with the pizza, we have it divided into 3 already. Then we divide that in half. 6 pieces. Okay? Now, that's x squared. If I want to know what x squared was, you're done. But I don't want to know what x squared is. I want to know what regular x is. So how do we get rid of square? Football! Woo! Football! Football! Yeah! Carter with a T, right? Carver with a V. I was right the first time. Carver! Football! Woo! How do we get rid of square? The whole thing. So the entire thing over here is going to get thrown under a root. Do you see how we saved that for last? That way we're done now. We don't have to mess with roots anymore. What? Ellie? Oh, that's so nice. A congratulatory hand slap. No one cares. No one cares. Wow. Football is literally the dumbest of all sports. That's X. Yes.
I got negative x.
Hey, excuse me.
Ladies, chicas,
I got the square root of negative p over 2 minus 5/6 y. Is that the same?
You're missing a 1.
Oh, okay, sorry.
This is what she got. If she adds the 1 in the end, right? See how it's just switching the order? A half of p is the same thing as dividing p by 2. You dig?
I just forgot about the 2.
Yeah, don't forget about the 2. All right, fair question. All right, so that was number 7. You want to see one more from the first 2 pages or no? Oh, wait, actually, no, I'm sorry, that wasn't all of number 7. We need to solve for y and p. So let's solve for p. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to fold this piece of paper. Let's go get y real quick. So in order to get y, we need to move this whole thing, right? Do we need to get rid of the square? The square is not bothering the y, is it? The whole thing over here is bothering y. So when we move it, we're going to move the whole thing this time. How do we move stuff? Yeah, add or subtract. We're going to subtract that. So we leave what's there, and then we move this by subtraction, yeah? So you just subtract 2x squared. That's it. Ain't no thing, right? It ain't no thing. Don't touch the square if you don't have to. Is it bothering y now that it's on the right side? No. So we're good. Now we need to get rid of that 5/3. Now instead of dividing by 5/3, because that's divorce, right? Let's multiply by the reciprocal. What is the reciprocal of 5/3? Just say it. 3/5. So everything, every term is going to get multiplied by 3/5. So we get y equals -1 times 3/5 is -3/5 p. What's 2 times 3/5? Think about it. I have 3/5 and I double it. Now how many fifths do I have? 6/5. You dig? Fractions are not hard. I've got 3/5. Double it. Now I have 6/5. I got 3 chickens. Double it. Now I have 6 chickens, right? Feeling better? Now, there's a 2 here. So we're going to double our 3/5 again. That's 6/5, right? But it's going to be negative. That's all a negative sign means, right? Change the sign. Done. Now let's talk about p. Oh yeah, get some origami skills going on here. All right, so we need to get rid of that negative in front of it, and we need to get rid of the 2. We can move the 2, right? Let's move the 2. 2x squared plus 5/3 y minus the 2 we just moved equals negative p. Don't forget p is still negative, okay? Now, how do we get rid of a negative p? Pause! Check it out. If I were to give you this problem, again, you don't know how to do that because you're confused, think of an easier one. If I gave you -2p equals 8, you'd know what to do. What would you do? You divide by -2, right? So I'm telling you we've got -p equals 8. So we're going to divide by what? -1. Now, question, listen carefully. What happens when we divide by a regular 1? It's the same, right? Dividing and multiplying by 1 keeps everything the same. Now, dividing and multiplying by -1 says keep everything the same because it is still 1, right? It's -1, but it's still 1. But the negative sign says what? Flip the signs. Change all the signs. That's it. That's all a negative means. Think about it. When I have 2 on the number line and they invented negative numbers back when you were in 6th grade, when you negate it, what does that negative do? It tells you to flip it 180 degrees over to here. It just changes the sign. What are we doing when we put a negative on there? We're taking our number, whatever the number is, and we're multiplying it by -1. That's it. That's it. So it just says flip the sign. So that's not hard. Let's divide by -1 to everything. This divided by -1 is -2x squared. This divided by -1 is -5/3 y. This one divided by -1 is +2. This one divided by -1 is p. It better be. That's why we did it. Do you see how it changes all the signs? Because that's all multiplying by -1 does. It just flips it across the x-axis. Well, across the y-axis in the x direction. That's p. Ready for the backside? Here we go. I alluded to this earlier. It's like a trill with my R's there, my D, like a trill to D. That was amazing. All right, so take a gander at number 8. We have freedom in algebra. PEMDAS is a lie. PEMDAS says multiplication first, then division. Nuh-uh. Any order you want to do. So here's how we read this. Are you watching? This says 3/4 of 24. So we have multiplication between these, right? That's what of means. 3/4 of something, right? Another way to read this. 3 divided by 4, because fractions are just division, right? Times 24. So we can divide by 4 first, and then times by 24. Ugh. How about we do this? What's 24 divided by 4? Let's do that first. See how I divided? The 4's on the bottom, right? So it's 3 times 24 divided by 4, which is 6. What's 3 times 6? And now you look like a genius. 3/4 of 24 is 18. Could you have done it the other way? 3 times 24 first. Yeah, and get a really big number, and then divide it by 4, and you'd be like, I don't know what that is. It's 18. It's all true. Go the easy way. Think. Number 9. It's not the answer. It's about how you do it. Right? You could have plugged this in a calculator, but you wouldn't have learned anything. 2 divided by 3, then times 12. What order do you want to do all this stuff in? Yeah, Bailey.
12 divided by 3.
And then times 2, right? So 12 divided by 3 is what?
4.
What's 4 times 2?
8.
2/3 of 12 is 8. That checks out. Another way to do it. 12 times 2, what's that?
24.
24. Now divide 24 by 3. That one was for you. Number 10. You want to times by 3 first or divide by 14 first? Yeah, because you multiply by 3 and it's like, good Lord, right? Dear God, why? Let's divide by 14 first. What's 28 divided by 14? 2. Answer 6. Why has no one shown you this? Yeah.
I kind of just like did it on my calculator.
That's fine, but that's not learning, right? Do you see now? I mean, I know. but like you're not gonna have a calculator and a quiz. Also, like someday you're gonna be doing calculus or something, and like you aren't gonna have time to do a calculator because like you're too busy thinking about other things, you know? So I don't care what you do. If I ever put a quiz for this, I'll have you show me this method though. I'll say, show me 3 ways to solve this. One way, 28 times 3 then divided by 14. 28 divided by 14 divided by, times 3 is the other way. 3 divided by 14 then times 28 is the third way. I don't suggest the third way. That one's kind of gross. Number 11, we do not cross multiply in here. Look at me. Look at me right now. Look at me. I'm serious. Hannah, eyes. Now, everyone. Mark, here. We do not cross multiply. This BS, 12 times 3, 5 times 15. That doesn't work. It's the wrong answer. You know why? Because the only time you're ever able to cross multiply, which is a trick, not something you understand, but you just do it because you're told to, and it sounds fun, cross multiply, right? And they bash it in your skulls in 5th grade. The only time you're allowed to do it is when there's an equal sign between these. And guess what? Those aren't equal. They're not. How often do you see an equal sign between those? Never! When you do, oh, cross multiply, wonderful, great. But it's like 1% of the time. And it's the only freaking thing you remember. So you do it for everything. And you do it for these, and that's why you get it wrong. We do not cross multiply. When things are on the bottom, do we multiply by them? No, we divide by them, right? We figured that out here. 28 divided by 14, then times 3, right? So we're going to do 15 divided by 5. What's 15 divided by 5?
3.
That's 3. What's 12 divided by 3?
4. Okay.
Not 36, 65. It's not even an equal sign. What do I do with those? Do I put one on top and one on the bottom? I don't know. It's 12. You can do it another way. Instead of doing 15 divided by 5 and 12 divided by 3, what if we did this? What if we did, well, there's not really another good way to do it. You can multiply the tops first, 12 times 15 together, and then divide by 15. Do you see how dividing by 3 and then dividing by 5 is the same thing as dividing by 15? So check it out. Look at this, right here, right here. Dividing by 5 and then dividing by 3. That's the same thing as dividing by 15, right? So what's 15 divided by 15? 1 times 12 is? Perfect timing. Get out of here. Leave. Be gone. If you're done with it, turn it in. If not, it's due Monday. I never assigned homework on Fridays, and I didn't. I assigned it Sunday. You're gonna throw up? When you do it, make sure you look in the mirror before.
I threw up this morning.